Howdy, welcome back. Today we're going to look at this Uberti Hombre that I recently aged or antiqued or distressed or whatever you want to call it. It has, as you probably know, you may know, the Uberti Hombre has a weird flat blue or black finish from the factory, and it is ugly and non-historical. So I soaked this in half vinegar and half water for about 5 minutes or so, and then started scrubbing off the wear areas with some 4/0 steel wool. And then as soon as I got to the point where it came off pretty quickly, and then as soon as I got to the point where there was still bluing in the flutes, for example, where it wouldn't naturally rub off, and the high wear areas were polished off, I basically ran it under the sink until the water, it kind of rinsed off the vinegar, so it stopped that process. Then cleaned it up really well, oiled it down really well, and this is the result. It's pretty. Oh, and then for the grips, I stripped them with citrus strip, and then kind of dinged them up a little bit with a butter knife and a fork. You can see some kind of dings here, little chips along the edges where they would get worn. And then I stained it with some water-based stain, ebony, and also redwood colored, kind of at different points, and so it kind of looks like it's been, partially dipped in grunge or whatever over the years. So that kind of looks relatively authentic to me. Not super much a fan of the artificially aged things, but this gun was so ugly the way it came from the factory. So for my YouTube reviewer, this has not been modified in any way other than the finish. So it doesn't count as a modified gun. It's exactly stock, functionally exactly the same as one you could get from your retailer. So anyway, thought I'd shoot it, see what it looks, see how it shoots for the first time. Let's take a few shots. All right, let's see how this thing shoots. I'm gonna hold the bottom of the large circle plate on top. All right, I'll hold the middle of the large circle. Now these HSMs are so inconsistent. Every shot feels different. Yeah, I think that was 6, but let's see. So these are HSM ammunition, and the recoil is like half on every other shot. I've noticed that they're very sensitive to the powder position. If it's up or down or forward, it makes a big difference in velocity. I haven't chronographed it, but yeah, not a fan so far. And you can also tell on the target, there's some of the impacts are larger than others because they're going faster. So let's try some of my loads. So if you're just going to shoot on the range and you're going to immediately shoot after loading, you can load 6. But if you want to holster a single action army, you should load 1, skip 1, and load 4, and put the hammer down on an empty chamber for safety. And this Uberti Hombre has their old style safety hammer, which is this little metal piece right here that if you put it on the quote safety notch, it apparently blocks the hammer from falling on a primer. But yeah, not going to trust that. So Yeah, if I'm gonna holster this, I'm gonna load one, skip one, and use it as a 5-shooter. But for the range, we can shoot it as a 6-shooter. All right. Seems like it's pretty much hitting to point of aim, or at least as close as I can get with my strange prescription and my wobbly shooting. It's fun to shoot. I haven't shot a 4 5/8 or whatever these are single action before in 45 Colt, and kind of like it. I think it's probably the most attractive length overall. The flush cut barrel to the same length as the ejector rod housing. It seems kind of compact and gunfightery. And happiness is a warm gun, they say. It's nice to, in this cold range, to have some warm steel to warm your hands on. Let's change the angle and get a different look at this. All right, this is the HSM ammo again. See if you can tell the difference. That one was pretty light. That one was even lighter. That one felt like a dud. So did that one. That was stronger. Yeah. Anyway. I don't think I'll be buying any more of that. So as I'm rotating the cylinder, I'm getting kind of a little catch. It looks like it might be right here. The primer, let's see if I can get this to focus. Yeah, you won't be able to see it anyway, but I can kind of go back and forth over this little edge, and I can feel the primer rubbing against that little sharp edge of steel at the edge of the ejector cutout in the frame. And I'm pretty much sure that that is because the primers are basically, you know, mushrooming or backing out a little bit under recoil, and then they're not, these loads are so light that it's not smashing the primers back into the case, which is actually what happens when you shoot a full-powered cartridge. The primer gets pushed out a little bit by the pressure, and then the recoil and the case slamming back against the breech pushes the primer back in. So I think that's probably what's happening. Let's shoot some more of mine and see if I get that again. Did you fire 5 or did you fire 6? So those are 250 grain lead cowboy bullets going about. Those are still catching a little bit, still feels a little bit crunchy. So it's not just HSM ammo, it's mine as well. But those are going about 800 to 850 feet per second, which is the standard cowboy type load. And maybe that's not hot enough for this, or maybe it just needs to wear in a little bit, but I'm only noticing it as I am unloading, and I'm not noticing any increase in force needed to retract the hammer and cycle the cylinder when I'm shooting it, so still shoots just fine. So I hope you enjoyed that. Just a quick look at this antiqued Uberti Hombre. Hombre, or however you want to say it. I like it a lot better than it was when it had that horrible flat spray-on looking crinkle finish on it. And those interested, this is just a Hunter holster from Midway. It's got, you know, machine pressed quote stampings and inconsistent stitching and a really annoying whatever this thing is called, loop or something, but it functions. So for the price, it's probably okay. But coming soon, there's going to be a video on some really good, nice Western holsters. So hope you stick around for that. Please like and subscribe, share, and consider supporting me on Patreon. Thanks a lot. See you next time.